In Algebra 2, section 5.3, we're dealing with polynomial functions. So basically, there's different types of polynomials. Some you've been exposed to, and some will be new to you. The first type is a constant. So this means that there is no variable in this polynomial expression. So basically, it's just a number, 12. The degree is 0 because there's no variables. And the leading coefficient is 12. A linear, that means this graph would be a line if I graph 4x minus 9. The degree is 1, so you always take the highest, the variable with the highest power, and that's a degree. Okay, and the leading coefficient is connected to the highest variable, which is 4. Quadratic is the one where it's U-shaped, and our degree would be 2. And then our leading coefficient would be 5. In this case, our degree would be 3, and then our leading coefficient is 8. So for any general, the degree would be n, so whatever the power to the n is, and then the general would be, the leading coefficient would be a to the n, the number in front of the highest. Now, sometimes they'll give it to you out of order, so you make sure you need to put it in order, but it's with the highest, the variable with the highest power will be your degree, will be attached to your degree and your leading coefficient. So, go ahead and pause, write this down, and we'll try some problems. Hopefully, this is pretty straightforward. So, the degree and leading coefficient, again, is the one with the highest variable. So this one right here, it's 7 z cubed minus 4z cubed. I'm going to actually do the math on that one because these are like terms. So I end up with 3z cubed plus z. So that means our degree is 3 and our leading coefficient is 3. Now this one right here, a polynomial cannot have more than one variable. So because this has 2 variables, it is not a polynomial. So you can only have one variable. The next one, we have 5x to the 5th, 2x squared. So this one has the highest variable. So that means our degree, the highest exponent for their variable. So our degree would be 6, and our leading coefficient would be negative 8. Hopefully this is somewhat organized. I apologize. They're going to be giving you equations, and they're going to want you to perform the functions on these polynomials. So what this polynomial is telling me is that for everything on the inside, I'm going to replace, so this is my main equation right here, okay? And everything on the inside of anything that has the letter m, because this used to be b of m, right? I'm going to replace it with 2x minus 1. On this one, I'm going to take the whole equation and replace everything for x, and then I'm going to multiply it by negative 3. So the difference is this one is in the parentheses. So the in parentheses replaces the actual variable. On the outside means that I apply it to the whole equation. So let me show you. The first is b, 2x minus 1. So I'm going to take this equation, okay? And instead of this m squared, so I took this equation, I wrote it here, and instead of m, I'm going to replace it with 2x minus 1. So this is going to be 2x minus 1 squared, okay? And this will be 2x minus 1. And everything else stays the same. So let me do that again in different colors. This was m squared and this was m, right? So I'm going to erase that. I'm going to use a different color. And I'm going to replace it with this whole equation because that's what inside the parentheses is. So 2x minus 1, don't forget to apply that squared. This doesn't have a squared, so I'm just going to do 2x minus 1. And then that minus 1 is there, that 2. So everything stays the same here. Everything is the same, except these m's are now replaced with 2x minus 1. Now, this one, I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to multiply it by -3. So it'll look like -3, and then m squared plus m minus 1. But it's also telling me that inside of m here, I'm going to replace my m's for x's. Okay? So this is my hardest part because is setting up. Because from here, you know what to do. You distribute and then you simplify. So they're asking us to simplify, but I need you to understand the difference between it being applied directly on the outside and being in the parentheses. In the parentheses means I replace the variables. On the outside is I apply it to the equation as a whole. And this one on the inside, it changed my m to an x. So I'm going to go ahead and solve. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2x minus 1 here. Look at all my pretty colors. So I'm going to do it right here, 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. Right? And I'm going to go ahead and multiply. So 2x times the whole thing. And then -1 times the whole thing. So this can be overwhelming, so you just need to take it in parts because you've solved all these equations just for different problems, but now they're combining it all at once. So the hardest part is just pre-setting it up and what they want you to do according to these instructions. And then I distribute. So I have 4x minus 2x, sorry, 4x squared, and then minus 2x plus 1. These simplify, so I have 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. So this whole thing is in place of this right here. So now I get 2, and it's still in parentheses because I have to apply that 2. Right? And I'm going to bring the rest down. Plus, well, yeah. 2x minus 1, there's nothing to distribute there. The minus 1, there's nothing, but this -3, I should distribute. So -3x squared. Ooh, what happened here? This is supposed to be a 2. Right? Because it's supposed to be everything, this is supposed to be exactly the same here, except the m's are x's. So -3x squared minus 3x plus 3. Right? Then I'm going to finish distributing this. So I end up with 8x squared minus 8x plus 2. There's nothing to distribute here, so I'm just going to carry down positive 2x minus 1. Minus 1, and I'm going to bring everything else down. So this might be overwhelming, but I took it step by step. First I took this, and I found what this squared is, because remember, I can't just distribute the 2 because there's a plus or minus, right? I can only do that if it's just one monomial. And then I distributed this, and then I took the 2 and distributed it from this whole thing. And then that's what brought me here. And from here, I just combine my terms. So I have 8x squared minus, ooh, sorry. So this is supposed to be 6. So 8x squared minus 6x squared, which is 2x squared, yes. And then negative 8x plus 2x, which would give me negative 6x minus 3x, which would give me a negative 9x. And then positive 2 minus 1 is 0. And so I have positive 3. This is one of those things where it's important for me to underline so I know I've used everything because it's easy to get confused. Now, because none of these are like terms, this in fact is my answer. All right, so go ahead and pause it, write it down. I know this might be a little overwhelming. We'll work at it in class. But basically, it's just about decrypting this information, what it's asking me to do. Once you set it up, it's just what you've expected all along. I mean, what you've been dealing with for the past when it comes to equations and functions. So try page 326, numbers 3 and 9, 326, numbers 3 and 9, and I will see you in class.